I use Dehancer for most of my projects, and I get asked a lot why I don't simply use a Film LUT, because they would be much cheaper and would look the same. Well, that's actually not true, and I'll show you why. Before we even start with any technical explanation, Dehancer looks so much more cinematic than all the LUTs I've ever used. In direct comparison with the Film LUT from DaVinci Resolve, I think Dehancer looks richer and the colors are more dense. Dehancer, and Film LUTs as well, try to make digital footage look like it was shot on film. But Film LUTs do things very differently. Let's use another clip where we can see this very clearly. Let's compare both quickly. We zoom in a bit on the bike. That's the image without any film emulation. Now we add Dehancer and you see how smooth the transition between the different colors and brightnesses is. Now let's quickly replace Dehancer with the Film LUT that comes with DaVinci Resolve. We add the proper CST to Cine and Film Log and then add the LUT. The transitions between these colors are now much harsher. It almost looks a bit blocky, if you can see that here. So let's switch between Dehancer and the Film LUT. Again, Dehancer and the Film LUT. This looks way better, more gradual than here with the Film LUT. And this is because a LUT doesn't analyze your footage, like in which lighting did you shoot it, what's the contrast in this scene. It just takes the RGB value and brightness of every single pixel and transforms it to another RGB value. It does not analyze the surrounding pixels or the image context. It's just a relatively dumb color transformation that's just applied on top of your footage. Whereas Dehancer really analyzes your footage, tries to find out if you shot a dark scene or a bright scene, and recalculates how real film would react in this scene. And the same applies to film grain, which is available in Dehancer as well. Of course, Resolve, or any other editing program, has options to apply film grain. But again, that's just a layer on top of your footage, whereas real film grain sits in the footage. That's the grain effect from Resolve. If we only look at the grain structure, we can see that that's just a video sequence, kind of. If you raise the amount of texture, it's simply zoomed in so that the grain is just getting bigger on the screen. We can clearly see that our image doesn't really affect that grain at all. It's just an independent layer on top. Now I switch to Dehancer, which does that in a much more organic way. Let's dial this back a bit and up again so that you even can see it on YouTube. I mean, nobody would use it at that level, but you can clearly see that the grain is not slapped on top. It really recreates the whole image with the baked-in grain based on the color and brightness of each section. And yes, Dehancer is a paid plugin, but you can save 10% if you use the discount code FilmLook10. But still, it costs money. But honestly, we are spending thousands of dollars for cameras, lenses, microphones, lighting, just to make our image look good. And then it almost feels strange that we try to avoid, by any means, to spend money for post-production, the part that often makes the biggest difference in how your image looks like. So for me, Dehancer is a no-brainer. It saves me so much time, and the image just looks way better than I could ever grade it. Thanks a lot for clicking this video. I hope it was somewhat helpful. See you again in the next one.